This dramatized story is inspired by unverified historical accounts. Viewer discretion advised. It was July 10th, 1933. As families across America decorated their homes with flags and lights, celebrating what they thought was a symbol of hope, a group of powerful men gathered in a locked room in Washington. Behind closed doors, secret phone calls echoed through the marble halls. Documents were hurriedly burned in the fireplace, and hushed voices debated something that would never be recorded in history books. By midnight, the national holiday, once known as Prosperity Day, was erased. Officially, it never existed. But to understand what was truly at stake, we need to go back. The story begins in 1927 in a modest Kansas town. That's when Mayor Elijah Crawford declared the second Sunday of July as Prosperity Day, a celebration of growth, unity, and economic hope in the shadow of the Great Depression. People marched in the streets. Parades filled the air with music. Speeches rang out with optimism. Slowly, the idea spread. By 1932, over a dozen states recognized the holiday. But 1933 changed everything. Something happened that year, something so bizarre, so unsettling, that the federal government decided the only solution was silence. Witnesses reported seeing strange lights in the sky the night before the celebration. In several towns, electrical outages were followed by reports of humming sounds underground. A journalist from the Chicago Tribune, Malcolm Reed, filed a story about the unusual behavior of citizens, claiming hundreds of attendees at one parade moved in near-perfect unison, almost as if hypnotized. His story never made it to print. The editor who reviewed it was later found dead in his office. Official cause: heart failure. But colleagues said he had no prior health issues and was seen tearing up the article minutes before his death. The next morning, July 10, 1933, there was no trace of Prosperity Day in the press. No mention on radio, no photographs in newspapers, not even whispers. It vanished overnight. Families who celebrated it yearly couldn't recall when it stopped. Those who did remember were reluctant to speak. Some described it as a dream they weren't sure they actually had. But the truth refused to stay buried. In 2011, an independent researcher named Clara Jennings uncovered a dusty box in the archives of a Nebraska courthouse. Inside were documents so disturbing, so precise, they defied explanation. One letter, dated July 11, 1933, was signed by a high-ranking government official. It instructed local authorities to destroy any and all records related to the July 9th gatherings. A typed memo listed 47 names of individuals who had reportedly vanished during the celebrations across Kansas, Illinois, and Missouri. There was also a photo, now infamous among underground forums. It shows a crowd standing in a town square. Everyone is frozen, staring upward. Many are wearing gas masks, though no reports of chemical leaks exist from that day. In the corner of the image, scrawled in pen, the chilling phrase, "They knew what was coming." But what did they know? And what came for them? Among the documents was a single-page report from a retired sheriff named Walter Dobbins. In it, he recalls a device, he called it the core engine, being transported under military escort 2 days before the celebration. He was told it was a weather analyzer. But when the device was accidentally activated during a test, something opened in the sky. The light, he said, wasn't natural. It hummed like 1,000 voices speaking backward. Hours later, reports of missing persons began flooding in. In the same box, a page torn from a personal diary surfaced. Written by an unnamed town official, it described a time chamber activated by synchronized movement and electromagnetic pulse. He wrote, "The crowd wasn't hypnotized. They were chosen. Every seventh step activated the loop. They vanished on cue. Most terrifying of all was the final note. They will return on the next Prosperity Day." Since then, scattered reports of strange events occurring on the second Sunday of July have emerged. People disappearing from public gatherings, unexplained lights, temporary blackouts. The government continues to dismiss them as urban myths, coincidences, or technical malfunctions. But what if the cover-up is bigger than we think? What if this holiday was never about celebration, but a test? A test that went wrong, or worse, a success they couldn't control. And if Prosperity Day does return, what comes with it? As of now, this story remains unconfirmed by any official source. But too many patterns, too many silences, and too many missing people suggest something did happen, something we weren't meant to know. This dramatized story is inspired by unverified historical accounts. Viewer discretion is advised. If this video disappears, you'll know why. Share it before it's too late, because some truths were never meant to stay buried.